How do you make holy water? Boil the hell out of it. Welcome to Faith Fridays with Fayad. It's actually not Fayad to anyone that's mispronounced my name for like the past 3 years, 4 years. It's all good though. This has kind of been like a dream of mine for the past, since 5th grade. I've always wanted to make like a YouTube, and now it's kind of like a realization in sharing my faith. So I thought I'd do this series, Faith Fridays with Fayad, for every Friday during Lent. You know, spread the word, spread some good stuff that I've learned along the way of living my faith out. Because, I mean, like, you know, speakers, they're great and all, but the thing is most of them are adults, and you can't really relate to them as much because they don't remember what it's like to like be a teen and live out the faith, and that presents totally unique challenges. So basically, this Lent, this first video I wanted to talk about what you can do that will change the Lent game. So let's start though by thinking, like, why do we do things for Lent? Why do we give things up? So giving things up is a very common thing for Lent, but why do we do it? So the thing is like we're living in all our comforts and joy and all, and giving things up brings us to the same level as this. This is suffering and love. So in giving something up, whether it's chocolate or candy or social media or whatever, but if you're giving up social media, you're probably not watching this, whatever. Like, if you're giving something up, you're bringing yourself to this same level so you can relate, right? But if you're on the same level, it doesn't really mean anything unless you're talking to the person, right? I once heard a saying that went, if you fast without prayer, it's just a hunger strike. And that's really what it is if you're giving things up, but you're not putting anything to fill them, I mean, why are you doing it? Are you just to make yourself stronger? Like, no, the point of Lent is to grow closer to the cross, to Christ. So if you're going to be giving things up, you got to use the time that you're giving them up, or take that sacrifice and use it to bring you closer to God. And how you do that is prayer. Like, prayer is the center point of our entire faith. It's not the popes. It's not the tradition. It's not little prayers and this and that. It's prayer with Jesus. Just like the apostles, right? They stood there and they lived with Jesus, and they talked to him every day. They woke up, they talked to him. They slept, they talked to him. They did things, they talked to him. And he gave them advice, and he told them what to do. Why? Because he was God, is God, and knows and knew what they needed. Like he knows what you need, right? So that's why we want to be in that relationship with him. That's the center point of faith, and people forget that. Without personal prayer, they call it contemplative prayer. That means sitting in silence and listening to God and telling him about your thoughts, feelings, desires. Our faith is in vain, because then we're just following a bunch of traditions. Then Catholicism is just a bunch of philosophical things that, like, you know, the world doesn't really need. If you forget him, you forget it all. Our God's a personal God, right? So what I challenge you to is 5 minutes a day this Lent, every single day. I did it, and it changed my life entirely. So 5 minutes a day, right? 5 minutes is 0.3% of your day. Are you not willing to give 0.3%, give that chance to God to act in your life this Lent? You know, I mean, usually, like, we go to Mass, and it's just like, it's great if it's a good homily to kind of relate to, and youth group, right? And, like, but there's more than that, and that's what this relationship is. That's what this dialogue is. Just know, though, that Satan does not want you at all to do this. He hates the 5 minutes. So just notice, when you start your 5 minutes, when you sit down to do it, you're going to feel every temptation to, you know, sit up, adjust your pant, scratch your neck, sit down, do something else. Every single temptation, resist that. That's Satan. Not lying. Sounds weird, but I'm not lying. So resist that. Know that there's something out to keep you from praying, and fight it. And go and pray. Because those 5 minutes of your day, or 10 minutes, are going to be what sustain you for the rest of your life. But start this Lent. Start it. I promise, just life change. I promise. That's where it all starts from, is by being a friend with being a friend with the cross, being a friend with Jesus, you know. And it's cringy. I know it's cringy, but it's a reality, and it's a beautiful reality. So 5 minutes a day, you start. If you look it up, it's called the Pirate's Prayer. Acknowledge, relate, receive, respond. Pirate's Prayer because it's R-A-R-R-R. Acknowledge. Sit there, because you need like a minute or two, right? We have crazy days. Sit there, acknowledge yourself, acknowledge your thoughts. Just think about it. Gather your thoughts together. Calm down a little, right? Take deep breaths. Some people do that. First R. Relate. That means you literally tell things to Jesus as you would a friend, right? And start it all with, "Come, Holy Spirit, teach me how to pray." It's a good one. It's short but good. And then second R, receive. Receive is like, was just, you literally spend at least a minute sitting in silence. You'll get better at it over time, just like a muscle. I promise. It's going to be a little rough the first time, but just try to clear your mind for an entire minute and just listen. Because you're probably not going to hear a voice from the heavens. It's going to be in your thoughts. Something that you wouldn't have thought of. That's how God speaks to us, right? Relate. Receive. Third R is respond. Respond is just you take what you heard in prayer, or you take the peace that you got, or you just take the fact that you didn't get anything and you do something with it. If you didn't get anything, know that you're building your prayer muscles, because no one can bench plates on the first time they ever lift. Well, rarely. You know, like, takes time, but know you're doing something good no matter what you do. And no matter what you get, I mean, you can use that for good. One of the things for me, I brought procrastination to prayer. So I talked about it. I was like, "Hey God, I'm really like fed up. I can't get any of my work done. I keep procrastinating," right? So I listened, and what I got was, this was for me, spend 5 minutes meditating on the cross before you work. I was like, okay, and I did it. And when I did it, it really helped me focus, like, actually. So things like that, like, God knows you better than you know yourself. So why wouldn't you go to him for the answers? That's basically it. Yep, happy, blessed end of the first 3 days of Lent. See you next week.